Hi, my name is Kelly. Thank you for inviting me to this interview. So I'll start with my OT journey. So I qualified in 2016. I started working as an occupational therapist in 2017. I started in a rotation post in London and I worked there for over a year. So I started with orthopedics, care of the elderly, and then, sorry, the third one was stroke. So some key experiences there was, I really enhanced my interpersonal skills. So that was, my communication with others and team working. There, I learned how to advocate for my patients, especially in board rounds with consultants and managing conflicts within family. That was a big key experience I learned. I then moved on to pediatrics. That was in 2018. And I was there in one school for 4 years. So that's where my love for pediatrics began. And, lots of experiences there. So that was just working with a different multidisciplinary team, including like teachers, parents, and behavior therapists, and changing my communication style to build relationships with these different team members and for the to progress for the best of my client. Supervision was at the forefront when I was working there, and I really honed in on this skill and like learned the difference and the benefits for line management, personal supervision, and peer supervision. I really enjoyed that school work. I was seeing the client in the context of where the occupations happen, and I just really loved that. Um, this is where my sensory integration journey started. So did lots of CPD here. I did module 1 and 2 while I was there, so air sensory integration. I also helped set up pathways for service development for like supporting new graduates. And so I really, really enjoyed that. I then had to move home to Ireland. So I started my job where I am currently. And I am now a senior occupational therapist and mainly working like in disability and kids with autism. I will discuss a little bit more about that later, but some key experiences there was, supervising new graduates. So I supervise up to 5 people now, the fast paced environment there, and I continued my sensory integration journey here. I finished module 3. So, as I said in my previous question, I did start my OT journey in the hospital. After a year, I realized that was not what I was passionate about and looked for a job in pediatrics. I worked in a special needs school in London and, was there for 4 years, was very passionate about this role. And there was kids with autism, kids with intellectual disabilities. And then that was a primary school mainly. After that, I realised I was moving home to Ireland, so I took a locum role, like a short-term contract in a secondary school before returning home to Ireland. And here I am a senior occupational therapist, again, working in paediatrics, 0 to 18, and doing OT assessments, OT intervention, autistic for autistic children, kids with DCD, kids with learning needs, like intellectual needs, like Down syndrome. But here, I've actually also been on the diagnostic team. So I help diagnose autism. I do the parent interview. I've done like the in-clinic interview. I've gone on school visits to do this as well. I really enjoy this part as well as the OT assessment part. And so this is definitely something I'm really passionate about and would love to work in this area in Australia. Um, yeah, so I really enjoy that multidisciplinary approach, working with speech and language therapists, psychologists, behavior consultants. I also enjoy the supervision aspect of it. So providing supervision to some new graduates, who only started in the role maybe a month ago, as well as junior members of staff who have been here for like a couple of years. I really like that diversity and supporting them in their OT journey.